as the Democrats now look at ways that they can survive the next 2 years and beyond. We're joined by Brendon O'Connor, Associate Professor at the US Studies Centre in Sydney. Now look, as we just heard, the Federal Reserve has announced another round of stimulus. Economists are divided on whether it will work. What do you think?
Well, it's a very different situation, isn't it, to Australia? I mean, we've got a situation where there's a want to bring interest rates down. The official rate is incredibly low in the United States. So I suppose this is a hope that more people will want to get into the housing market. There'll be more business lending going on. I suppose it's a sense of a wait and see. I'd sit on the fence to a degree in this. The Federal Reserve is basically printing more money, and there's a hope that I suppose the American economy and Americans themselves embrace an opportunity to get money at an easier rate and, see their economy fire up because of the unemployment problem. I think this has been brought on. Unemployment still sort of stubbornly at 9.6% in the United States at the moment.
Besides just the economy, what does Barack Obama now have to do? What's he going to have to do to convince Americans that he can lead them out of these troubles?
Well, I think he's probably got to be a little bit more sort of out in front. I mean, he's probably been a little bunkered down. I think he's conceded this today, that the White House bubble has probably affected him a little too much. He's had so much on his plate. I think he's at times probably seemed overwhelmed by the details. This long period he spent trying to get the Afghanistan policy right might have been the correct sort of approach to policy making, but it probably kept him out of the public eye for too long. So I think we'll probably see a different communications approach. He'll be hoping unemployment goes down, that with a rising economy his fortunes will go up. But I think there'll be a lot of attention on how can he calibrate his message a lot better and maybe get back some of that mojo that he had during the campaign, because as president he seemed a pretty ineffective communicator, which is very strange considering how he was seen as such a brilliant orator when he was campaigning.
And also for the Democrats to convince the public that a lot of these problems that they have were actually problems when he went in, that the Republicans, helped to create.
Yeah, I think that's one of his greatest failings, actually. He didn't pin enough of the problems on the Republicans, on the Bush-Cheney period. He should have been using those terms over and over again. The Bush-Cheney period, the Republican era before me has brought these terrible problems, and I'm here to do something about it. He in some ways wanted to move on. He's a uniter in some ways.
He trusted them too much.
Yeah, he's very much a person, I suppose, who wants to see cooperation. He's talked a lot about in his writings about, not a liberal America or a conservative America, but an America in the middle that everyone can find ideas which can bring everyone with them. And I think to some extent that was an intellectual failing. He would have been better off tactically as a politician to blame the Republicans over and over again and try to downplay their brand as much as possible.
We see it here in our politics a lot.
It's been a very common strategy in Australia. I mean, the Kennett government was a master at this in Victoria. When Howard first came in, he talked about the Beasley black hole over and over again. And I think Obama maybe missed an opportunity there tactically.
And also missed out on him being able to sell the things that he has done, like the troop withdrawal from Iraq, health reform, financial regulation. In regards to health reform and financial regulations, what will the Republicans do to these? They've already flagged what they want to do.
Yeah, there's talk of repealing some of the healthcare reform things. I don't think that will happen. I think there may be a fight on in Capitol Hill, but the Senate can easily block that. The Senate is still controlled by the Democrats. Obama could ultimately veto it. I don't think it will get to that stage. So it will be part of an early set of kind of muscling around in Washington, D.C. will be what threats the Republicans want to bring to the table. And I think there'll be a very, I think there'll be actually a very fractious period ahead, more gridlock in the United States, and actually a period of inactivity and a lack of cooperation.
If the Republicans do make those changes to healthcare reform and financial regulations, and also bring in more of the Bush-era tax cuts that Obama opposes, if they do this and things don't improve, in 2 years' time, do you think that Obama's going to be able to convince Americans that actually he was trying and the Republicans came in and they're the ones that, he would say once again, have caused all the problems, when he hasn't been able to do it this time around?
Yeah, the Bush tax cuts have been extended, or there's been debates about that. They will be extended. There's no willingness in the United States at the moment to see tax raised on the highest income earners in the United States. But apart from that, I think there'll be a sense of, well, Obama being painted as a do-nothing president, ineffective, unable to achieve much. Obama painting the Republicans in Congress as the party of no, of the party of sort of anti-government, of anti any further stimulus, particularly a fiscal stimulus to go with this monetary stimulus. So there'll be this toing and froing of who's to blame, and I suppose that could be to Obama's advantage. Bill Clinton used it pretty effectively to get re-elected, to say the Republicans are frightening, they're too radical, they've got this guy Newt Gingrich who wants to have this Republican revolution, as he called it, and Obama will maybe think of using that tactic himself to try to at least have someone to play off and not have all of the attention on what he's doing.
OK, Brendon O'Connor, we'll leave it there, but thanks very much for joining us this evening.
Pleasure.